I hear you say that your husband had a challenge in his organization. Do you want to share more light on that so we understand the pain point and the need for very IR?
One of the first major challenges that they faced was employee theft. It was really bad. It was so bad. And my observation was that they just laid the employees off. So I was taken aback, like, okay, so you just lay them off. They're like, yeah, what do you want us to do? That's what we would do. And I just started to think that, these employees will go somewhere else and they will not put that experience on their CV, and then they will go into another person's business and then they will do the same thing, maybe even smarter.
Wow, that's very, very smart. So that means essentially anyone can just go into the database of VeriHire to sort of verify an employee before employing them.
Yes.
That's really smart.
This program is supported by ACT Foundation.
My name is Omolola Ajijola. The name of my business is Very Higher. My business was inspired by employee theft. So one of the things that we found out, or that we eventually saw, well, I experienced it personally, and then I started to hear so many stories around employee theft and misconduct. And so I thought to myself, there has to be a system that allows employers, have an inkling or an insight into the employee that they're about to employ. And that's why, that was how the idea of Very Hire came to me. And so essentially, Very Hire is an employment verification platform. But the way it works is employers upload their employee records and then they report a misconduct on our platform. So that when somebody else wants to hire, they can check if a potential employee has been caught in a misconduct before. Yes, essentially. We've been working on the products for about a year, but we officially launched in November of 2025. So far, I would say picking my team members. I have the most amazing team members, and we have created something amazing, a beautiful trust infrastructure. And so, yes, I'm very excited about that. Super excited.
This program is supported by ACT Foundation.
Hello, welcome to another edition of Smart Growth by ACT Foundation. And today on our chair, we have a very special founder, and she has an organization that I would not spill the beans just yet, but I would let her tell us all about our organization. It's a very special one. My name is Oluwatobiloba Akilabi, and I'm your resident host for today. So, Omolola Ajijola, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
So I said something in my intro that your organization is special. And why I said that is because it's unusual and very different from the tech companies that we see. We typically see finance tech, fintechs, mat techs, real estate techs, and the like. What do we tech yours? What is very IR?
It's actually HR tech in a way, but it's not core HR. That's the beauty of Very Higher. So essentially, my husband's business experienced a problem, and I sort of carried the problem on my head. Because when he was talking to me about the problem, I felt his pain and I was upset about it. And I told myself there has to be a better way to solve this. There has to be a better way to enjoy running your business without having to stress about employee theft, essentially. And so I just sat with the problem. I was thinking about it for a very long time. And then one day the solution just hit me. And here we are today.
Okay, so I hear you say that your husband had a challenge in his organization. Do you want to share more light on that so we understand the pain point and the need for very IR?
Okay, so essentially, he and his friends came together to start a business. They put their personal funds, got some loans, and got attracted some investors. And then, of course, they did their setup, and everything was going smoothly. They employed people, and business was thriving. But one of the first major challenges that they faced was employee theft. It was really bad. It was so bad, and my observation was that they just laid the employees off. So I was taken aback, like, okay, so you just lay them off and And then, they're like, yeah, what do you want us to do? That's what we will do. And I just started to think that, these employees will go somewhere else and they will not put that experience on their CV. And then they'll go into another person's business and then they will do the same thing, maybe even smarter. And so it just became my problem, essentially. Yeah.
Okay, so I hear that your organization, if I hear you correctly, it is that your organization is into are you investigating employee theft or are you having a repository of theft from organization and also the thieves as well? Or what? So let us know what exactly are you doing with
we have created what we like to call a trust infrastructure. And that essentially just means that we have created a database where employers would upload their employee records, their NIN, their passport photograph, their name, their job role, their phone number, and their emails. So what happens is that when an employee is caught in a misconduct, maybe theft, fraud, whatnot, the employer is going to upload that record on our platform so that we will keep those records. Essentially, when a lot of employers do that, before another employer hires somebody, they can go on the platform and check, has this person been caught in a misconduct prior to, being in front of me, essentially, yeah.
Wow, that's very, very smart. So that means essentially anyone can just go into the database of VeriHire to sort of verify an employee before employing them.
Yes.
That's really smart. I told you guys
Thank
this is
you.
a very special
Thank
this
you.
is a very special edition and a very niche segment. So what do you envisage the sizes of the market? I believe you've done your market research. And does this go into aside from organization, residentials, homes where we actually employ people as well? How do you scale your business?
Okay, so essentially we're focused on blue collar businesses and informal hiring. Essentially, domestic staff employers and small, medium, micro businesses.
Okay.
Because a lot of the white collar businesses can afford to do background checks, and of course their staff turnover is not as high as the informal sectors and the blue collar. So they don't. So the blue collar employers don't have the bandwidth to do background checks, essentially, and so that we are focused on those types of businesses and domestic employers, essentially. And for the businesses, there are over 39 million businesses in Nigeria.
SMEs,
Yeah, SMEs in Nigeria, MSMEs in Nigeria. So they are our focus and our target market.
Okay, so
and that's aside the domestic employers, essentially, and if you look at a typical household, people employ more than one staff.
Yeah.
So you either have a driver, a help, a cook, or a nanny,
Yeah, I can imagine many people have thought about this idea before and never really, worked on it because of the infrastructure and the size of the infrastructure, right? So, are you getting any funding? How are you funding this? Are you in business or are you still in your MVP ideation stage? How are you funding this?
Essentially, we have been funding it ourselves. One of the things that we're doing is we want to try and gain some traction, which we're already on track to do. Before we now start actively applying for funding, which we'll start to do in the next month.
Okay.
Essentially.
So where's the business in this?
Okay, so
how do you make money?
So right now we're free. Okay. You sign up on our platform, you upload your employee records. It's free to do so. The reason why it's free is because we are trying to build the database. When we have enough data, and then we'll begin to charge.
Okay.
But we are focused on, because this is not just a business for us, it's also a social enterprise.
Okay.
In the sense that we want to make it cheap enough for small, medium, micro business and even individuals to be able to have access to this information. So our goal is not to be overpriced. Our goal is to be
to deliver value to
the market at an affordable rate.
So how's the response been, the market response? Because I know this is it's a big problem locally, right? So how's the market responding to this? Do you have more businesses or organizations? And I know you mentioned not, targeting the white, multinationals or mid-sized organization, right? So how is this? How are the SMEs and the micro enterprises responding to your
So
business?
essentially, we haven't been in the market long, and we haven't actually really pushed it. But so far, we've had a couple of about 40 signups
Okay.
without any marketing at all.
Okay.
So I believe that there's going to be a lot of traction. Again, I think one of the challenges that I've seen is that people typically wait for something to happen first before they. So if I haven't experienced it, I'm not eager to. But those who have experienced it are saying, thank you for. I mean, somebody sent me a message last week. She was like, thank you for this service. You know, you're really doing something fantastic to help us employers. So that somebody essentially has experienced employee theft, and so she understands the pain of it. So most people who haven't are not really like, but those who have experienced it, and there are quite a lot. I don't think I know anybody that hasn't either in business that hasn't experienced
either in business or in their personal life that have not experienced employee theft, right? Yeah. So I mean, this is smart growth. So we're supposed to talk about how your business is going to grow and some ideas and what we can do to, or how we can just support you in terms of helping your business grow. So basically, I hear you say there are about 39 million micro SMEs in Nigeria. Have you considered like the associations, speaking with the associations to get the word out? Because I find this, I think very recently there's a coach and an influencer that posted something, you know, close to employee theft and offering some advice, and I think it gained a lot of traction. How have you considered partnerships with such influencers, coaches, associations? I mean, even to the government, because this database is also relevant to them, not just to manage theft as well, but also for employee records and employee management. How are you? What do you think about
all of those
that?
things you've mentioned are part of our marketing strategy. They're part of the ways that we intend to really push our message out there. Because what we're doing is essentially new. There's nobody else who is doing it or who's done it. So we're the first in the market. And I feel like some people are a bit skeptical, like, oh, what are they going to do with our data and all of that? But I can assure you that we are not, first of all, we are compliant with the data protection laws of Nigeria. That's very particular. And that's one of the reasons why on my team, I have a lawyer on my team. So we've looked at everything from the legal point of view. And we want to assure people that your data is safe and secure. So on that front, we are good, essentially. And then with the marketing, yes, we intend to reach out to SMEDAN and other organizations and associations. Sometimes it's just hard getting to those people, if you know what I mean. Okay. How do you get their phone numbers? Some of the websites I've visited, they don't have their numbers listed for the association leaders or whatnot. So sometimes it's access to those information about those people where you can reach them, you know. Yeah, that's essentially what. But I feel like the more we put our message out there, more people will reach out to us, because I've had a couple of people reach out to me personally to say, oh, I'm interested in what you're doing. I would like to know more. Yes. So I feel like the more we put out our message or about what we're doing, I feel like we'll get more traction about for very high, essentially.
Yeah, I think you may also need to consider cooperatives. So whilst they're associations, they're also cooperatives. And, you know, most of those cooperative, like manufacturing, you know, someone was just talking to me about a cooperative recently, like, you know, and these people are employers of laborers. And they're also professional associations where you have enterprise owners, not necessarily the government SMEDAN, but SMEDAN, if you can hear us. Contact very higher today. But, you know, there are smaller enterprise groups, right, that I think you should be a part of, right? Associations or smaller enterprise group that you can be a part of, and from there really get the word out, because this is a major issue locally and we can see it everywhere across Instagram and people. So now let's talk about how you intend to scale this business. So what is it? Is this $1 million business?
I believe it is.
Is this $1 million business?
I believe it is.
Okay.
And one of the ways that we are planning to scale. So essentially, one of the things that we thought about when we started was that in trying to solve one problem, we didn't want to create another one. So I sat down and I said to myself, when we have a lot of people on our database and they can't get work, what happens? That can potentially lead to another kind of problem. So I came up with the idea of creating an LMS, essentially like a mind rehabilitation program, such that once an employee has been caught in a misconduct and they've been reported on our platform. And the way the platform works actually is that once an employee is reported, because we already have their phone number and their email, they will automatically get a message from us saying this, and then they have an opportunity to contest whatever it is that they have been reported for. Because it was important for us to be fair, because sometimes you might be reporting something that is not essentially truth. And so one of the things we also did was to make sure that when you're reporting any misconduct, it has to be with evidence. So we've created an avenue for video evidence, picture evidence, and all of that. So the employee is going to be sent a message, and then they can contest. If they know that they can't contest, then they will be advised to go and do the rehabilitation. The goal of the rehabilitation is that we believe that when people know better, they will do better. And so it's going to be a training online. Essentially, our business is scalable because we're not having any physical product or whatnot. Everything is going to be online.
Tech-driven,
essentially tech-driven.
Is that LMS? Are you going to charge for that LMS, or it's
we're going to
free
charge
element?
a small fee for the because I personally believe that for you to be committed to the program, you need to have a stake of some sort in. But it's going to be a small fee, less than 5,000, around that.
Okay,
something very small.
So the way I'm thinking about it now, I'm thinking of in reverse engineering. Like, instead of wait till you get all of those numbers and people, can you reverse engineer where the training sort of comes in right now? You're partnering with some really, maybe some coaches and people that are well-versed, or knowledgeable within that field. And that partnership helps you drive the growth, of the organization, business-wise and numbers-wise as well. So do you understand what I
do understand what you're saying.
Is it possible, do you think of reverse engineering that?
Okay, so from where I'm sitting, money is, how do I need to say this in informal? We'll
take it.
So we need money to drive these things. Essentially, we don't have any funding yet. But as soon as we get some funding, we're going to start on that. We already have some of the programs that we want to teach people. Because sometimes one of the things that I caught in a conversation with an employee of my husband and the employee were speaking. One of the things I caught was she told my husband, because she had left my husband's business. She told my husband, this business makes 10 million every week. They're making so much money and they don't pay us well. So from that conversation, one of the things I caught is the fact that employees don't understand how businesses work and how money moves. Because a business is earning 10 million in revenue every week, you're not considering the overhead costs and all of the elements. You don't know whether the business has a loan. And so I feel like that also drives
that education.
Because a lot of people are at the back of their minds, they feel justified to take the company's money because they're not, in their minds, they're not paid enough based on how much the company is making. So that also informed some of the things that were going. So essentially, I'm picking a lot of things and it's informing the kind of contents that we're going to have on our LMS. Okay. And one of the major things that is going to be on that LMS will be like a visit to a prison. essentially, because I remember when my husband was doing training for a job at the bank, they took them to the prison,
Okay.
to let them see that
See?
if you get caught, you will find yourself here.
And that's what I'm saying. Actually, that's what I'm saying. That that's a good way to sort of introduce very aya to organizations, right? So this is a training that is not common, and it's a sort of case study or practical based.
Yes.
Aside from talking about mindset, helping employees understand business, but there's also this aspect, where they take them to
Yes.
where they show them,
Yeah.
the repercussion of stealing from an organization, and also the beautiful side as well, because I know some organizations offer stock options for their employees and whatnot. That's why I said, I think you may need to consider reverse engineering and also speaking with people that already, that are trainers in this space, partnering with them and pitching that to organizations. I think they would pay you for that.
Okay.
They would pay you for that, to say, we're putting this together for different organizations, and you go there and put it together for them as an education for them, whilst you have this very aya saying, this, we can have your employee database, and if anything
So
comes
the way
up.
we've worked it out actually is that once the LMS is ready, businesses can, and even individuals can sign up their staff to go through. They can
The
pay
training, yes.
to go through the training. And one of the things that we've decided to do is that if you go through our training and you are employed and you go back into the workforce and you are caught in a misconduct, we're going to create a blacklist where your name goes to. So you know that you are the one. Now you are more informed. You don't have an excuse to go back into the system and then
do the commit same crime. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I was just thinking about it and I said, I was just going to say you're the Olivia Pope of the HR. Olivia Pope of the HR industry in Nigeria. Amazing. So do you see the organization spreading into other African countries? What's your big...
Yes, I actually do see it spreading. I feel like Nigeria is a good start for us because Nigeria is ripe, for a disruption. And once it can catch fire in Nigeria, I feel like it'll be easier to transition into other African countries. Because I know that they also have this problem.
If you had to go to one African country, where are you going?
Is it based on business or bias?
On business, please. Your expansion would be where?
Would be Kenya. Tanzania, yes.
Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much.
But then the whole of Africa is hence the $1 billion.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're going to be a unicorn.
Yeah.
And you heard it first from us at Smart Growth.
We would be a unicorn.
Very aya is going to be a unicorn. What's your final word? So I know right now that people still find it hard to perhaps report employee theft, to if it's not really huge, even the smaller 1,000, 2,000, we'll just rather send them off. Can you look at the camera and just advise employers about why they need very aya and why employee theft should not be taken lightly?
So essentially, if you're an employer out there, I want to encourage you to sign up on our platform. It's free for now, and onboard your employees. If somebody steals 1,000 naira and they get away with it, if somebody steals 1,000 naira and they get away with it, they're emboldened to do it again because they got away with it. Even when criminals are sent to jail, they are worse off than before they even went into. So essentially, it's like we encourage them to continue to. One of the things that I say is that employee theft has become a culture amongst employees in Nigeria. It's become a culture that almost feels like it's come to stay. And the way to stop that culture is to do something about it. So one of the things that we put out on our platform is we call it the Responsible Employers Alliance. I want to encourage you to join the Responsible Employers Alliance because when it's be your neighbor's keeper type of thing. When you upload a misconduct or you report a misconduct, it helps another person. another employer, And, I saw a communication last year. It was from VGC, the estates. They had this list of people. And one of the things that I saw on that list was an employee that tried to kidnap the child of an employer.
Oh.
And a lot of these people were not caught. So they're at large. And one of the things I've noticed is that people do things, they run off. And even if they steal money, for instance, they eventually spend it and then they need a job, they'll go back. And sometimes they are with you 2 years, 3 years, building your trust before they just, hit you really hard. So I want to encourage you, if you're out there and you're an employer of labor in Nigeria, please register on www.verihire.co. verihire.co. It's free. Just sign up, upload your employee records so that we can begin to build a trust infrastructure for Nigerian workforce. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Malala Ajijola. I told you guys this was a special edition and a special entrepreneur. Thank you for coming
Thank
to
you
Smart
for having
Growth.
me.
I hope you enjoyed your time.
I had
here.
a fantastic time.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
This program is supported by ACT Foundation.